Hi, Martin. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm good, and you?
Good. I hear you're getting ready for your next departure on your European tour. Is that right?
Yeah, right now I'm actually leaving within 5 hours for Austria to do it. Awesome training down there. Actually, two trainings in one, so that's going to be awesome. But I'm looking way more forward to something that we're going to do together in Philadelphia quite soon. So I'm kind of excited to be here and talk a little bit about what we're going to do in Philadelphia.
I know. I hear you're coming to Philadelphia to do a master class, right?
Yeah, it's actually going to be the first masterclass, hypnosis masterclass that I do in the US. I've been doing quite a lot in all over Europe. And since we guys met in Vegas and we did a lot of stuff there, a lot of people started asking about when are you going to do a masterclass in the US, because what we saw there was awesome and it was fun and it was a new way of doing hypnosis. So I thought, why not do it very soon and do it in Philadelphia, because I got a lot of friends in New York and I got a couple of friends there in Philadelphia, so it just felt like the right place to do it actually.
Right. There's been a lot of buzz about it. People are talking about it. I'm getting a lot of questions actually from people who have had previous hypnosis training, as well as a lot of people who have none at all, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I myself am a psychologist, so I've been doing it for a few years. But we're always looking to up our skills and things like that. Is this class something that anybody could go to, or do you need to have previous training or experience for it, or what is it?
Well, the good thing about this is the way it's structured. I can kind of promise, actually, I can definitely promise that those people who had no training will get the full package of how to do modern and professional hypnosis and get high success rates on every client, because they will get everything they need to do with proper hypnosis. But also people who have been practicing for maybe just a couple of years, or maybe 10 and 20 years, they have a special set of skills that were applied way back, and this is a way new training. So I can promise those who have training already that they will get a brand new mindset and a way of skills to do a different kind of hypnosis. Some of the things that I will teach them might seem, like something they've done before, but there's twist to it, there's new layers, there's cut to the bone techniques, and what I kind of do, excuse me for my language, I cut away all the bullshit that might be part of, a lot of the hypnosis we've been seeing for the past 20 years. So there's a lot of new tools and a lot of different ways to do it. So it's actually for everybody. It's for trained people and people who want to start a new career, or just maybe have a new tool of, to communicate with.
Right. That's great. So we met in Vegas at the HypnoThoughts convention, and I was able to take a few of your classes while you were there. And, for people who don't know you, I mean, people who have been doing hypnosis for a really long time were completely bowled over by you. It was amazing. It was really amazing to watch. Just your skills are like unbelievable in the area. So I would consider this an advanced training, even so for people who have had a lot of hypnosis experience. It was really jaw-dropping to see some of the stuff that you did. You did a lot of really good inductions and body language stuff and all kinds of stuff. It was amazing. So you're a master. So you're a master trainer. You can train people who are very good at hypnosis anyway, right?
Yeah, I'm actually associated with several organizations. I'm a master trainer of the IACT, of the ISAT, and I'm also a certified trainer by the IHF. And later this year, I have a couple of new organizations coming on also, who kind of wanted me to do something with them because of the things we did in Vegas and because of things I did early on all over Europe. So as you just said, that there's kind of a buzz about the whole name of the brand. So, and I just enjoy what I do, and I like what you said about, people who've been doing this for quite a while. They felt like it was a jaw-dropping moment when they saw some of the stuff I did, and I kind of like that, because that kind of proves to me that what I'm doing is something different, because a lot of people think they know everything about the brand or the skill of doing hypnosis, the craftsmanship or the work or everything like that, but most of what people do is kind of outdated. I'm sorry to say so, but it's kind of outdated. We're still relying on techniques back from the 70s, even 60s. And it doesn't apply to a modern society with the communication we got. And there's so many amazing techniques out there that could be easily implemented in any session, and we can have really fast change work within minutes, and we can have higher success rates on every client than most people did like just 5 years ago, just by bending the whole way of doing hypnosis. And those who think they know a lot of hypnosis already, they will be stunned within the first couple of hours and know this is a brand new way of doing it. It's still just hypnosis. It's just about getting the client into the trance and do some work with the unconscious. But even just getting the client into the trance will be way different and way faster and way more powerful, because that's what this whole training is all about. That's why we call it the MasterClass, because it's two trainings combined into one. It's the hypnotist training and the hypnotherapist training. And it's a lot of information. It's really a lot of hands-on work also, because I love watching students do the work and train it and learn it and get the skills, you know, really incorporated in everything they do, so they think and they breathe and they live hypnosis every moment on the training. But it's also kind of a training that goes on several levels. There will be the conscious mind getting, you know, information, the theoretical stuff and all the curriculum, but we're not going to spend too much time on that. And there's also a dual reality thing going on, so I will teach and train the unconscious meanwhile, so there will be a lot of information incorporated. Then suddenly, when we do a hands-on training, I just tell people, well, I just showed you something, go do it. And people usually ask, what is it really that we're going to do now? And I say, exactly, just go do that. And then suddenly people just do exactly everything I just told them, or actually just showed them. And in the end of the week, I kind of give them the whole outline, and they suddenly understand everything they just got taught. And it's quite a lot. So if I hand out the outline from the day one, the conscious mind will freak out because it's a lot of stuff. So I do kind of everything very different from most other trainers. So it's going to be a thrill to do this.
And this is something that if people go, they could start practicing the first night. This is not even something that, you know, you go to a certification class and you never think about it again because it's just too arduous or overwhelming. This is something that they could employ right away, right?
Immediately, actually. And the cool stuff is, you know, a lot of people are kind of afraid of the whole examination stuff and will I pass on the last day. I usually tell my clients on the first day, actually within the first 10 minutes, congratulations, everybody just passed the exam. Because now all the, you know, responsibility and all of the pressure is gone, because now it's my pressure to make sure that every student will succeed on the last day, because if they don't, it's my problem, because I didn't see they might have been struggling with some of the issues or some of the techniques or whatever. So I need to kind of embrace every single student, meet them on whatever level they're at, and push them exactly how far they can be pushed, and make sure it's done in a safe and trustworthy way, and make sure they truly understand all the information. So if somebody do not pass on the last day, it's actually my fault. And everyone has passed so far because they will do things actually already on the second or third day than they thought was impossible. I even had, you know, like people from random trainings all over the world, could be whatever kind of organization, saying, hey, you know what I've just learned in just a couple of days matches out, or not just equals, but overrules everything I got taught in a 10-day training back in Florida way back, because this is a different way of doing it. It's all about the client, and it should only be about the client. You know, just a small thought I just had, you know, a lot of trainers and trainings teach people how to analyze and interpret whatever your client is saying. And whenever you do that, it's going to be wrong. It's almost going to be wrong every single time. And imagine building up a session on things and information that's wrong. How good could that be for the client? Right. So I'm almost not adding anything at all to the whole session besides what my client is saying, and make sure I will ask the right questions. So it would be my client, through a dialogue, even in hypnosis, actually revealing all the resources, all the solutions and everything they do have inside of them, because it's not for me to find, it's for them to understand they actually do have it already. And that's kind of part of the modern hypnosis way, and how to make sure your clients will get everything they need.
Right. I think one of the things that's so exciting, I mean, and especially for people who are new to hypnosis, who don't know a lot about it, is that all trainings aren't really created equal, right?
Yeah.
When I was trained very classically in clinical hypnotherapy. There was lots of scripts. I was told never to deviate from this one script. And, you know, with that, I mean, even with that, let's say, I saw enormous change, more than I would see in psychotherapy. To be honest with you, it took 45 minutes to an hour to do a session, which was a little, you know, arduous. But you know, this new stuff, the stuff that you're doing, is more. It's more advanced. It's more rapid. It's more relational, right? You're engaging with the client much more and on their level, and you don't do script stuff, right?
I don't do scripts at all. There will be some scripts during the training, but it's more like to have a safety place to start out from. You know, read through the script, understand how it's structured, but now throw it away and make your own script with the client, because your client have all the answers. You had the opportunity to have a small session with me in Vegas, and you know a little bit about what's actually going to happen, because I do what I call rapid fire. And constantly, you know, push your subconscious to deal with the issue, because I do not want to communicate with your conscious mind, because it got all the excuses, all the non-willingness, all the, you know, unreal realities of why we're actually in this situation. And every time I address that to the conscious mind, it will create a reaction into the physical body, and suddenly the shoulder hurts, or the stomach has, you know, aches or whatever. And it has nothing to do with the actual issue. So I just cut all of that away and make sure I will pinpoint fast as possible with the unconscious exactly what's the problem, and start building up, finding the resources, and reframing everything that you might think is bad or bad situation. But actually, it's not a bad situation, because something happened that made you even stronger today. So what is that something? I want to know what that something is all about. And that's you know, a hidden resource. So nothing is so bad it can't be used for anything that will be better than bad. That's kind of my philosophy, and I haven't failed doing that yet. And people seem kind of surprised by that. But the big difference between doing scriptnosis, as I call it, would be you have an outline of a story. It could be storytelling, hypnotic storytelling. It could be like, you know, general metaphors and stuff like that. A lot of words that doesn't really, you know, reply to your client, because they have their own power words that mean so much more on different emotional levels. So if I use the word freedom, and freedom actually doesn't mean that much of freedom to you, and you have another word for that, I should use your word. And I would never know that if I didn't have a dialogue with your unconscious during the session, if I just sat there reading my script. And what happens when you read your script? You're not looking, you're not connected to your client. So I don't do that. I will hand out stuff so people get the hang of it, and scripts are good if you read them by yourself to get, you know, inspiration to do whatever you do with your flow, because the hypnotic flow is so much more powerful. Because the fact is, if you're reading, you're conscious. If you are in your flow, you're actually in trance, and you need to be in trance before your client, because you need to drag them in there. Otherwise, you couldn't handle all the stuff that's happening. So it's a trip for you, it's a trip for your client, and it's a good trip. It needs to be. We need to have a laugh, we need to have a giggle, we need to be serious, we need to address the problems, we need to cry a little bit, because it's all about releasing that stuff and understand who we really are. And it can only happen through dialogue. So throw away the script, really, and I will teach you how to do that. And within those 5 or 6 days, depending on where the training is at, you will know how to do this in the most natural flow that you thought was impossible just a couple of days before that. And I've seen that on every training. So everybody can do it.
That's awesome. Really exciting. So when I first started hypnosis, like a few years ago, I actually got into it for like self-improvement reasons, just to kind of, you know, I knew it was helpful, and I didn't know that much about it, but I knew it was going to be, you know, it was, you know, great. And I think what's really cool about this is for people, because I'm seeing a lot of interest from people who are not practitioners, who don't meet with people, who are not in the medical field or the counseling field. Um, it's got so many applications for, if, for people who coach a little league team or coach a sports team. You could have a practice or a business just kind of doing athletic performance, or for people who want to stop smoking themselves, right? Take it from me, when people see that you were not, like, you were previously sedentary for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, at 10:30 at night you can't wait to put on your running shoes to jog around a track 7 or 8 times, people want to know what's going on. They want to know about it. It creates, some buzz. So for people who, if you want to quit smoking and you quit smoking yourself, you're going to have 20 people lined up wanting you to do that for them, right? So this is just, it has so many applications to people, whether it's for personal development, for professional reasons, all that stuff. Do you see that people have that interest yourself?
Yeah, exactly, because I think you're onto something, because the old misconception about hypnosis would be the same with the doctor, psychiatrist, or whatever, that you go to work, put on your cap saying, I'm a hypnotist, and it works while you're in your office, and then you take it off, go back home, and you're just Martin or whatever, or Tracy. But really, the way I understand hypnosis today, it's a way of communication, it's a way of life, it's a way of philosophy, really. So what I do see would be a lot of people thinking that they're going to use it in some kind of therapeutical way or career or whatever, but a lot of people do suddenly understand this is a way of communicating. I can bend my own language with this. I can get more power to whatever I'm going to say or bring to a conversation. I can get even more power out of people that I work with. Could be sports, could be therapy, could be private, could be the school teacher, could be just you sitting back home dealing with depression, suddenly looking yourself into the mirror and saying, I want to live my life and do something. Stand up, open the door, get outside and do something, because you got that new, mindset. So it's, as I usually say that, are we really hypnotizing people or dehypnotizing them? I believe we're dehypnotizing them, because they're so strong in their own hypnosis. That's why they have those behaviors. And people are hypnotized to believe that there's only way of communicating. And we need to take care of everybody but ourselves. And that's so wrong. We need to take care of ourselves and be more powerful and be able to help so many more people, because we can. And it's a good way of having, maintain your ego, as long as it's a good ego. And hypnosis is definitely a very good tool to do this. So to me, it's so much more than just, hey, put on a cap. Look at my wall behind me. That's tens, maybe even $100,000s of dollars hanging there. Right. But I never got the T-shirt. I never got the cap. It's not something that I'm switching in between depending on what client. It's just me sitting there, watching my client, knowing exactly what to do when they say this word or that word. So it's a philosophy to me. And I want to make sure that they do understand that there's only one in power of changing their life, and it's them. They have the responsibility. I'm not the one. I don't even push the button. I just show it to them, but they need to do it. And that's the whole still misconception about, regular therapy, counseling or whatever, that people feel like, hey, here's a counselor who can help me. She can do it for me and he can do it for me. And if it goes bad, I can just go back and, get my brain reset. And that's not the kind of client I'm looking for. I'm looking for those who want something. I'm even looking for students who want to change something within themselves first. So you're absolutely right. This is for everyone. It could even be a CEO wanting to, be better at, the communication skills with employees, and I do have a lot of those. Right. Just getting better at it, and they love the therapy. They can do it on themselves afterwards, but they suddenly realize how much skill they have in just watching another person and knowing exactly how to bring the best out of that person without hurting them and without damaging anything. So it's a ride, really, and it's a thrill, and it's something that you can never be too good at. and it's power and knowledge that you cannot have too much of, really. So
Right.
I'm still learning every single day. It's a great journey.
But you know what I've found? The learning curve on this is huge, meaning,
Yeah.
you don't think that you can do it, and all of a sudden, 15, 20 minutes later, you're doing it. You're right where you need to be. It's not something that takes forever to learn. It's right.
Well, hypnosis, I can actually teach hypnosis within half an hour if I wanted to,
Right.
knowing what hypnosis is all about. And people kind of get stuck with the whole idea of, well, the biggest challenge would be getting people into that condition because we need to test them, we need to do this and that. And it's so wrong. It's so wrong.
Right.
Why use 45 minutes, maybe 40 minutes of a full session on 60 minutes to test people, pre-talk with them, and see if they can actually go into hypnosis? Trust me, everybody can go into hypnosis. My pre-talk would be 5 minutes max. My induction would be 5 minutes max. So it leaves me 45 minutes to do all the therapy. And usually, even people with deep traumas, incest, really, rape, it could be anything that's really severe. And what most coaches or whatever things like, oh, this is a big deal, we need a lot of sessions. A lot of those I deal with within 40 or 50 minutes. I'm not rushing anything. I just suddenly have a client realizing how much power they have and how many resources, because they protected themselves. They did what they did best in that moment and suddenly realize how powerful they are. So they outrank the perpetrator within minutes, and they realize that and they accept it. So it's all about the acceptance. They don't need another session because it's done with. It's not something I put in a box and I hide it somewhere back in the brain. No, we look at it saying, what did I actually learn from this one? And suddenly it kind of erases itself, and now it's a new set of skills, it's a new set of knowledge, and that's powerful, right? If you look at like 70s, 80s hypnosis, well, even scriptnosis in the 2014s would be people saying, your cigarette tastes like cabbage, or whatever. If you hate cabbage, it tastes like cabbage. But within a week or two, they eat cabbage and still smoke. So what's the whole deal about that? And if we do parts therapy, it's like, we need to get rid of this part because it's dangerous, it has bad behavior. No, it doesn't. It has willpower, it has determination, it's stubborn. Imagine it did something else but smoking. What if these three, powerful skills was added on to the health part of your mind, knowing that, hey, I need to have that 5-mile run, I need to do this, I got the willpower to stand up and leave the couch and get outside and take a deep breath of fresh air. Well, imagine how much power that would be. So I would never kill any parts or put something away. I will find the resources, because it's all about finding the resources, and so much more fun to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And a quick note, it gives like long-lasting, not just long-lasting, but everlasting results doing it that way, because it's not like Jack in the Box suddenly pops up saying, hey, I'm back. It's changed forever. The synapses in your brain, it faded away and new ones were created, and now the electricity goes another way that's more fun, that's skill, that's power, that's determination. So who wouldn't want to do that, really?
It's awesome. That's really awesome. So
I get excited.
It is exciting. It's so exciting. I was completely excited after I saw it, the whole thing. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it in Vegas, okay? I mean, so I know that the potential is huge. What are they going to get after they do the master class? Is there a certification or something, or what comes with that?
Yeah, we do have a kind of a double certification, really. And what comes with the training as standard, something that I pay for, would be the ISAT certification. We also have the IHF, that would be the International Hypnosis Federation. Great lady called Shelley Stockwell created that way back with Orman McGill. And she's so lovely, and she trusted me. I got the 2013 International Education Award, so she definitely backs me up in anything I do, and she's lovely. People can have that certification also, because it's backed up on the whole training. And if you sign up before a certain date, I will actually give you that certification also. So that's a save on $65 or something like that. So it's actually double certification training. So you will get 2 of those hanging in the back on your wall saying you're certified hypnotherapist.
Right, and the ISAHT certificate, that's the International Society of Advanced Hypnotherapists, is that right?
Exactly. It's something created actually by myself way back with one of my best friends, Steve Rain, who's an amazing hypnotherapist, and just throughout the last year, so many people want to be part of that organization, because what we want to do is have a non-political organization, a non-religious even organization, but we want to make sure that the ethics and standards would be something everyone who's trained in any school, if they apply for this one, we want to make sure they can actually do what they preach. It's not just something, hey, if you pay like $100, you will get the certificate. We don't do that. Right. If you apply, we will check you out. We will do background checks. We'll check out your company, your reference, everything like that. And if you do well, and if you're a full-time guy or girl and a hypnotherapist, you might get a certification. But if you're trained by one of our trainers, you will get a certification, because then we know that the standards you do, it's not scriptnosis, it's not 70s hypnosis, it's something that will work in right now and tomorrow and the year after.
Right, right. And the other thing you were saying is membership into the IHF, the International Hypnosis Federation, for a year.
Exactly. It's both places. One year membership. Actually, ISAT would be a 2-year membership. IHF would be a 1 year, and then they have great newspapers coming out with information. They have a conference also. Happens usually in St. Peter in Los Angeles in springtime. So there's a lot of backup, a lot of knowledgeable people who will share their wisdom, and they have all the Facebook groups and stuff like that. So it's a big support group. So you can find whatever you need when you're done with the training.
Awesome. And a lot of people have been talking about the fact that they were not able to get to the Hypno Thoughts conference and see you. But I think that there's something maybe like an early bird special. If they register or something, they would have access to seeing your conferences there? Or?
Yeah, good thing you mentioned that. I almost forgot about that. Okay. I did a couple of, actually almost a handful of workshops in Vegas, but 2 of them were especially like completely sold out. People were standing, by the walls to get a look of what's happening at these workshops. One of them would be body language and pattern interrupts, all about how to read people. And you might think when people do this, they're kind of defensive or whatever, but it doesn't mean anything really. So it's all about finding patterns and get to know the system of the individual you're kind of reading. So it's all about that. It's all about doing pattern interrupts, and that's a 2.5-hour workshop. Everything is recorded. There's a couple of exercises, and everybody who signs up before a certain date will get full access to this video and the transcript of everything that's said. And that's just the one workshop. Then we have the fast speed inductions and induction formula workshop. That's it was a 4-hour workshop, and it's cut down because of the exercise to 3, maybe 2 hour 50. You will get full access to that also, and the transcript of everything that's said in that one. And I do some pretty, if I say myself, pretty badass demos there, showing how fast you can put people into sleep, even dealing with people who are struggling and don't want to really cooperate, how to get them there. And it was a fun workshop, really, and people were having fun.
I saw it. And honestly, as somebody who doesn't do that every day, okay, I mean, I started practicing rapid inductions like a month or 2 before I came. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it for myself. I would have thought that those people were, I would have thought that they were hypnotized, don't get me wrong. I would have thought that they were primed, though. I would have thought that, you had been doing hypnosis on them, all day, or, for the past hour or 2 before that class or something. Totally not true. I mean, I picked a random person, walked to the front, and it's not like you even had to touch them. I mean, some of the stuff that blew me away were like the nonverbal stuff. You held a DVD up of like you looking at somebody at one point, and they like dropped like a stone in 15 seconds. Yeah. It was just amazing.
Exactly.
It was crazy.
I actually want to share that. Well, one moment, I'm going to show you something, because the fun thing about that would be since you mentioned that, we bring up this lady to sit in front of the whole audience, and she's been watching a couple of fast speed inductions, and I would just pointed out, like, do you want to help me out? And she was like, okay. And it just sat down, like, doing this. This is, you know, a DVD that I did with some fast speed inductions, and it's my face on it. So I said, well, just take a good look. And I just did like that and put it closer and closer to her face, and I could see her eyes already starting, you know, drifting a little bit, and I just dropped it, and she dropped. So it's all about utilizing the moment and really have fun with it. And it wouldn't happen if she didn't allow it. That's, again, one of the misconceptions that I want to make sure people understand. It cannot happen unless you want it to.
Right.
But it takes so much. Sorry?
Yeah. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't say it myself. But
exactly.
It was amazing.
And I get a lot of those reactions, because even from a hypnotist who's been doing this for quite a while, you know,
definitely.
I got a new good friend on the conference, Sean Michael Andrews. He's the world's fastest hypnotist.com, and he was standing in the background like, what did you just do? Because it's a different approach, and I spent quite a lot of time trying to figure out the science behind it. And so it's kind of a science project to me to understand how the brain works and how the body reacts. And I put all of those events together into a formula, and that's kind of what I'm just utilizing. And it's so simple that you wouldn't really understand it, but it looks so powerful. And even watching some of my own videos, I go like, how did you do that? Because just looking at it in a conscious way, I don't really recognize all the things that I'm actually doing, because I myself is in a deep trance doing it. Otherwise, it couldn't be done, really.
Wow. Didn't know that.
But it's fun.
So, and you know, if you go to your website, and I think it's www.thehypnoacademy.com.
Exactly.
You have some videos on there, some clips of the Vegas thing, and you doing the rapid inductions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what was just as amazing was the stuff that you did, where, you know, it was just body language stuff. I mean, you didn't even have to touch anybody, pull anybody, no arm stuff, no arm pulling, nothing. Even if you go to YouTube and you look at your YouTube videos, there's an old one. I think it's a Danish video, and you're doing like a body language induction, and it's just about, you know, mirroring breathing techniques and things like that, how to, you know, calm somebody down. It's literally amazing. Yeah, the whole room was floored. I know, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. So we are really excited over here for you to come to Philly. Okay.
And actually, everything we just covered would be, you know, bits and pieces that I will be, you know, teaching in the training book, because it's all knowledge that you need to know. And it might seem like it looks like it's so difficult to do, but it's really so funny to do. And when you first get it, everybody can do it. It's just a matter of moving your mind away from, you know, an old pattern and do something different. So I'm really looking forward to it. And on top of all of this, we have all the therapy tools that we could put on top of this to make sure that people have an awesome life, because it's all about that. So it's fun, it's serious, it's hard work, but it's also surprisingly easy when you get there, and it will be so rewarding, not just when you're done, but years after.
Definitely. Well, we are excited over here for it. Okay? So if people have any questions, they can email you or something.
We can actually do, if people have any questions, in the end of this video, there will be an email down here. There would be a website, something like that, where you can actually go straight to look on the Philadelphia MasterClass training. And just to recap everything, we have the training. Usually we charge quite a lot for that, but since this is first time in the US, we have a special price, and it's not just a special price, but we have included the certifications, both certifications. We have also included one of the Hypno Power Loop tracks that would be an awesome way of getting people into trance, and use that as background music. It's not real music, but it's trance-inducing sounds that sounds like music. It's pretty awesome. And then we have these two workshops. It's almost 5 hours of pre-videos that you can go and watch before the training and gain even more. Everything is packed together into a price that would be half the price of what a training like this usually costs, even when I'm not the one doing it. So it's really a bargain, and it's a limited seat training because we want to keep this small, we want to have fun, and we want to keep it focused and intense. So we don't have 20 seats available, we have less than that. So it's about being fast on the decision, just doing it actually.
Wow. Okay. That sounds good. So we're excited.
We're excited, and all the information will follow in just a moment.
You're going somewhere. Where are you going tomorrow?
I'm leaving for Austria tomorrow to do a double training down in Austria. So it's like it's a good drive, 16-hour drive, but I love driving. It's good.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you then.
All right, and hope to see you guys on the training, and just follow these instructions. See you there.